We're going to go ahead and pick up our red buff. Thor lands in. He is in it, so we're going to try our best to try to help him out right here. We use our ultimate. Unfortunately, we miss everybody. We use our line attack, and we connect with a lot of people right there. We're going to use our 2. We're able to get the slow onto the Ganesh. Ganesh dashes out. We're going to hit him with our line attack, and we're able to get the kill onto the Ganesh. We're trying to avoid this Kuzumbo. Xbalanque's here. We're going to keep wiggling around, really taking advantage of our movement speed from our items and from our passive. Xbalanque just used his dash. We're going to cast our 3, get a little bit of poke, use our 1, and we're able to clean up the Xbalanque. We get an assist. What a do, Scooby-Doo, it's your boy SeanyB Gaming, and today we're going to be doing a skin showcase of the Sniper Tech Raw, which came out as a Odyssey skin. If you are new to the channel, I upload every single day. I add some commentary to a game that I've already played with the intention of seeing what went right, what went wrong, and hopefully there's something that we can learn together. If there is something that we learn together, make sure you subscribe and check out the channel for some more Smite content. If you are a returning viewer, I went against this build the other day and it just felt nasty. So we thought we'd replicate it and go ahead and share it on this skin showcase. So let's go ahead and jump into Raw's kit. Raw's 1, Celestial Beam. Raw's going to shoot a line attack. This ability has extended range, meaning that it can go from your archers to the enemy archers whenever the waves are attacking each other. Raw's 2, Divine Light. Raw's going to start emanating light, stacking a slow every 0.5 seconds on enemies near him, and twice as fast on enemies facing him. After 2 seconds, the light detonates, doing damage, applying another slow stack, and increasing the slow duration. Any enemies that are facing Raw at the time of the explosion are also going to be blinded. Additionally, Raw cleanses himself of slows and becomes immune to slows for 0.6 seconds when activated. It's going to be a 5% slow per stack, and the detonate lifetime is going to extend it by 3 seconds. Raw's 3, Solar Blessing. Raw's going to summon a circle that persists for 6 seconds and ticks every second. Allies inside the blessing are going to have increased protections and power and are going to be healed every second. Enemies are going to be damaged every second. At level 1, this is going to provide 10 protections. At level 5, it's going to be 30 protections. It's going to provide 10 physical power at level 1 and 30 physical power at level 5. It is also going to provide 20 magical power at level 1 and 40 magical power at level 5. Raw's ultimate, Searing Pain. Raw's going to summon the power of the sun and shoot a powerful line attack in front of him. This ability is really cool on this skin because Raw whips out a bazooka over his shoulder and then shoots the line attack. And Raw's passive, the Speed of Light. Every time Raw uses an ability, he's going to gain 6% movement speed. This can stack up to 3 times and last 15 seconds. Each time you use an ability, it's going to extend the duration. In terms of the leveling order, we're going to want to put a point into our 1, put a point into our 2, put a point into our 3, put another point into our 1, put a point into our ultimate. Then we're going to want to max out our 1, max out our ultimate whenever we can, max out our 2, and finally max out our 3. We are going to be going for movement speed in this build. We are going against a Owl Pwash. Luckily, he does not have any movement speed ability, so we should be able to just zoom around him. A little bit of foreshadowing for y'all. Kuzumbo is going to give us some difficulty for this game, but once we kind of understand that Kuzumbo is our issue, we kind of work around it and we're able to figure it out. We're going to go ahead and cast our 1. We're getting some good damage onto the minions. We're going to poke the Owl Pwash with our 3. Make sure that our 2 is hitting the minions. At level 1, oh, that's a very interesting mechanic. So whenever Owl Pwash hits us with his 3, if we've received a heal, we're going to be stunned. So we are going to have to try to watch out for how often we heal ourselves when going directly against Owl Pwash. He's about half health. If we can get our combo on him, we should be able to get a pick onto him. We're going to cast our 3, kind of force him to go either right or left whenever we are pressuring the minions. Here comes Kuzumbo. There's the stun from the Owl Pwash 3, and Kuzumbo is able to get us. Our positioning was pretty bad right there. Since we got our heal, we knew that stun was coming, and unfortunately, we go down. We're going to pick up the tier 2 version of Boots, cast all of our abilities whenever we're leaving Fountain. That way we're gaining the 18% movement speed. For your 2, whenever trying to get your passive stacked, the 2 has to detonate in order to extend the duration. So it does not work as soon as you cast the 2, it has to detonate first. All of your other abilities, it's as soon as you cast it. We're going to go ahead and throw our 3 onto the minions. What I was trying to say earlier was whenever we're standing in our 3 and it only has 1 point into it, the amount of power that we're gaining is not going to make that much of a difference in the early game. In the late game, whenever it has 5 points into it, it can make a difference, but we're not too concerned about stepping in it before casting our abilities. Fighting over these harpies is probably not worth dying. We're going to try to help Chalk out. We're going to apply a slow to this Tsukiyomi. That gets him to back up and we're able to save our Chalk. We're just going to go ahead and focus on the minions and then rotate towards our red buff. Tsukiyomi is trying to put some pressure on us. We're going to cast our 3, cast our 2. That's going to start applying a slow, trying to avoid the outwash damage. We use our ultimate. Unfortunately, we missed Tsukiyomi. We get some good damage onto the outwash. He's about half health. Chalk's coming in. Let's see if we can get our 2 onto this Tsukiyomi. He's very weak. We're going to cast our 3. And we're able to get the pick onto the Tsukiyomi. Now we're going to pull back using our passive. Some good poke onto the outwash from the Chalk. We're trying to let Chalk know that we're interested in invading the enemy red buff. We're going to clear this wave before helping him with the invade. We're going to activate our 2, just stand in the middle, get the minions, and then rotate towards the red buff. We're able to make it through some of the golden XP. Now we're going to show face and right, rotate over there since we just invaded. The Xbalanque is very weak. Chalk does a very smart thing. He comes in with his ultimate, silencing the Xbalanque so he can't dash out. That makes it very easy for us to go ahead and clean him up. We're going to start making our way back to mid lane so we can start trying to get that farm. It looks like the minions are going to be pushed under tower before we can make it back. Maybe not. We made it just in time. Raw, because of his passive, is an excellent mid laner for rotating to the side lanes. He's going to gain that 18% movement speed whenever he's done casting his 3 abilities. And then you can just run over to a lane. In fact, I think one of our biggest mistakes this game is not rotating enough. So if we're ever caught in middle, just standing, waiting for the minions, we want to rotate to camps or we want to rotate to a lane. We are zooming around. So after going into Mage's Blessing, the tier 1 of Charon's coin, we're going to be going into Lifesteal Boots. I know a lot of people like cooldown on Raw, but I think the Lifesteal Boots are going to give us a good little power spike, and it's also going to allow us to recover some health whenever we damage minions and enemies with our abilities.
Oops.
We constantly want to be taking advantage of our passive with Raw. See, it looks like we missed 1 melee minion. Looks like Outwash missed 2 melee minions. We're going to rotate left, see if there's anything we can do to help. Never mind, we're just going to check Harpies and then rotate back mid. There's Kuzumbo. Good thing we went into the left jungle because Kuzumbo would have pushed us into 2 people. We're trying to let our team know that the enemies are missing from mid. Are you really not going to use VGS? Yeah, there we go. We're telling them, like, back it up. Thor goes down to the Ganesh. Chalk is also over there. Tsukiyomi. So right here we got tagged by his 3. We can't heal ourselves. We're able to poke the Outwash with our 1. We're going to use our 2, but unfortunately it's a little short. So our left lane got cleaned up, our solo laner and our jungler. Right here's a good time to ult. We're trying to line it up. We cast the ult. I think we would have missed him, but we were able to get his Aegis. Now we're in a terrible spot. We're going to cast our abilities. Keep trying to get that 18% movement speed. We're going to use our Aegis. But unfortunately, Outwash is able to clean us up. That was just a little bit of lack of foresight from us. If the support and jungler went over to solo lane, they're either backing or they're coming back mid. We assumed that they were backing, so we stepped up a little bit further than we probably should have. What we really needed to do was cast our abilities and then back up. So a little oopsie daisy. We are 2-2-0. We're going to cast all of our abilities and then head to lane. Ideally, you want to cast your 2 first because that takes the longest to go off and activate a stack onto your passive. Chalk's going for our red buff, so we're going to want to rotate there with him, get some of this golden XP. We want to try to be with Chalk while he's clearing camps as much as possible, as long as it doesn't affect our farm in mid lane. We're going to go ahead and clear our Harpy, rotate back mid. So it looks like we missed most of that wave. We're going to save our abilities to where we can tag both. Here comes Kuzumbo, giving us trouble yet again. And I think Kuzumbo just sold us. So that is very important. Oh, we get out. We get out. His reflect damage isn't enough. Never mind. He tags us with his wand and we go down. Super unfortunate, but we have enough money for Charon's coin. The Charon's coin is going to provide us 80 power, 20% magical penetration, 7 HP 5, and 20 MP 5. It has a passive that on god kill or assist, a coin is flipped. If it lands on heads, we're going to gain a stack of 7 HP 5. If it lands on tails, we're going to gain a stack of 2% movement speed. Each effect can stack up to 4 times, and at 8 stacks this item is going to evolve. We also gain an additional gold each time the coin is flipped. I think this last part feels kind of useless. Just 1 extra gold doesn't feel like a whole lot. But once we do get the 8 stacks, this item's going to evolve. It's going to have 80 power, 35 HP 5, and MP 5. It's going to have 20% magical penetration and 8% movement speed. Its new passive, we're going to try to wiggle out of here. I think we're good. The evolved passive, on a god killer assist, a coin is flipped. If heads, it's going to grant 150 health over the next 6 seconds. If tails, we're going to gain 5% movement speed for 6 seconds. We're also going to gain a gold every time the coin is flipped. Back to the action, we're going to use our ultimate. We're able to get a pick onto the Tsukiyomi. We're going to go ahead and rotate out. We trust that our team's going to be able to clean up the Ganesh.
Now is the time to take action.
We're able to get a assist, so that's going to be 2 stacks on our Charon's coin, 1 for the kill and 1 for the assist. We're going to immediately back up as soon as we see Kuzumbo. We are scared of Kuzumbo at this point. He's been involved in all 3 of our deaths. But we're wise to him now. We're not going to let him get us again. So the idea of going Charon's coin first is to get it stacked and to gain that 8% movement speed. We're going to gain that 8% movement speed, and we're also going to be gaining the 18% movement speed from our passive. One thing to note is that movement speed in Smite is not linear. So let's just say we have 100 movement speed, and then we get 200 movement speed. Just because we have double the movement speed does not mean that we're moving twice as fast. So Charon's coin is also going to give us 20% magical penetration. The cap is 40% magical penetration. Ymir comes in. I assumed he was going to hit his free, so I used my ultimate. That was a very late ultimate from me. Tsukiyomi's trying to rotate in onto us. We use our line attack. We're able to get the pick onto the Tsukiyomi. Kuzumbo's rotating behind us. Good thing we have our ward set up, or else he might have pushed us. Luckily, that was not a situation where we would have been killed. We use our line attack. We're able to get some good damage onto the Kuzumbo. He's going to use his ultimate. If only we had our ultimate still. Unfortunately, we do not. We're going to go ahead and clean up the minions. Our team is rotating into the right jungle, but there's nothing there for us to clean up. This was a perfect example in between these 2 waves of when we could have rotated. I think we could have rotated left right there, but it looks like we probably wouldn't have been able to do much because Thor is able to get the pick by himself anyway. Xbalanque is pretty far pushed back on the map in the right lane, so we probably don't want to rotate that way. If he steps up past health halfway, then we would want to start thinking about trying to rotate right. We think the enemy red buff is going to respond. There's a bit of a team fight going on. We're going to rotate over, try to help out as much as possible. We're going to use our 2. We use our line attack. We're able to get some good damage onto the Xbalanque. Cupid's able to clean him up. We're going to make sure that Ymir is safe. We're playing back. We do not want to be in the front line here at all. We have a wave in mid, so we're going to rotate back, clean this up. We're able to get the full wave right there, and then we're going to rotate towards our red buff. Since they were in the right jungle, we don't want to try to invade right now, especially since we don't really have our jungler with us. We're just going to go ahead, clean up our red buff, pick that up, and then rotate back to mid. We're going to use our line attack. This time we're starting to... Oh, here comes 2 people. We're starting to avoid just using it on the minions. We're trying to also poke out the outwash. We're able to get these slow onto Tsukiyomi, get a little bit of damage, keep our passive fully stacked. We're going to go ahead and clear our Harpy, keep our passive stacked. The heals on Raw are pretty helpful, but they're not game-changing. They're kind of game-changing. But we really want to use our heals outside of combat, so after we get a pick, have our team fall back, and then everybody stand in our circle. We're going to go ahead and back and pick up Doom Orb. Doom Orb is going to provide us 145 magical power. It's going to provide 200 mana and 20 MP5, along with 6% movement speed. Killing or assisting a minion provides us with 1 stat, granting 1% movement speed and 4 magical power per stack. Stacks last for 15 seconds and can stack up to 5 times. Gods are going to provide 5 stacks if we get a assist or a kill on an enemy god. So whenever we have Doom Orb fully stacked, we're going to be gaining an additional 5% movement speed and 20 magical power. So if you get what we're going for a very fast raw build this game. Getting Charon's coin and Doom Orb is really going to allow us to do that. We're going to get our slow onto the Outwash. Unfortunately, we miss our line attack. Some bad mechanics right there. Here comes the Kuzumbo. We're going to use our beads, and we should be able to wiggle out of here because we used our beads. We're just going to sit back. We're going to cast our 3 and stand in it so we get the heals. It's going to tick every second. So that's going to take us from yellow health to above 50% health. Our Ymir returns. I guess he just lagged out for a second. We do have our ultimate. Tsukiyomi gets the stun onto the chalk. We are able to poke the Tsukiyomi with our 1. We're going to cast our 3, stand in it, get our health back to 100%. We're staying a good distance away from this Kuzumbo. Our red is down, but I don't know if we're going to be able to rotate to it right now. We're going to cast our 2, apply the slow. We're able to get the pick onto the Tsukiyomi. Since we are zooming around, we're going to be putting points into our 2 instead of our 3. Our 3 provides a lot of buffs for us and our allies, including protections, power, and a heal. But since we're so fast, our 2 is going to allow us to close the distance and apply a slow to the enemy. So we get to choose how and when we engage. We're going to be fast, we can close in on them, apply the 2, and really decide when we're going to attack. If we level the 3 first, the 2 is not going to feel as strong. The slow is going to be the same, but we want to get in there, get some good damage, and try to hit them with our 1. And then use our 3 for out of combat healing. We're going to cast our line attack. And then we have the option of rotating anywhere. We're checking enemy builds. We didn't really have anything camp-wise for us to go for, and I think rotating left was a bad idea because we don't know where Ganesh is. Rotating right, the Xbalanque is pretty far pushed up in his lane.
Yes.
We try to duke out the Outwash, make him think we're going for the Harpies. That's going to make him go around the corner, then we're going to step up, we're going to use our ultimate, and we're able to get the pick onto the Outwash. We get stunned because we stepped inside of our 3 and received a heal. We're going to keep wiggling around. At this point in the build, we're pretty fast. If we don't get CC'd, we should be able to just run away from pretty much anything. We're trying to let our teammates know that Tsukiyomi is rotating. We're going to rotate as well. Kuzumbo's deep. He's trying to just avoid any kind of contact. We're going to use our 2. It's going to take him once, I believe. He goes into tower. Right now, he's trying to just die from the tower instead of dying from us. Oh no, we're going to miss a lot of basic attacks right here. But we're able to get the pick onto Kuzumbo because we got damage onto him from our 2 all the way back here. Oh, we also landed a basic attack. That was probably the biggest refresh. We're able to clean up the Tsukiyomi. Now we're going to go ahead and clean up our red buff. So we died a few times in the early game, but now we're starting to really get the ball rolling. Our team's working on the Gold Fury. We're going to go ahead and step up. Raw's ultimate is very good for securing objectives if they're contested. This Gold Fury should be free, so we don't need to use our ultimate. But if the enemy team is trying to get the Gold Fury, we'd probably use our ultimate and try to get the secure with it. We're going to go ahead and clean up our mid wave. We have a pretty penny in the pocket, so we do want to back here in a moment. We're going to go ahead and clear this wave. And we're going to go ahead and back. So after going into Doom Orb, we're going to be going into Rod of Tahuti, often referred to as Rod of Tahuti. Rod of Tahuti is going to provide us 160 magical power and 30 MP5. Its passive, basic attacks, and abilities are going to gain 25% additional magical power against targets below 50% health. So ideally, we could poke somebody out with our 2, get them pretty weak, maybe below half health, and then cast our 1. Tsukiyomi's here, we use our ultimate. Unfortunately, we miss. That was a pretty easy one to hit. Unfortunate that we missed it. Ymir's getting pushed up. We're going to go ahead and pick up the Cupid hearts, even though it's candy corn. We're going to heal up a little bit. Trying to stay in the back line here. Really not trying to be in the front line at all. Kind of looking for something to rotate to. We decide that Pyromancer is the best thing for us right now. So we're going to go ahead and hit Pyromancer with our Thor. The Pyromancer is going to allow you to leave Fountain and gain a 40% movement speed increase. This is to allow you to get to lane a little bit quicker. There is a timer below our Titan that shows you how long you're going to have the Pyromancer buff. Tsukiyomi's nearby. Our red is up, so we are going to want to hit that pretty soon. We cast our 3, just try to get a little bit of damage, maybe convince them to not walk through it and back towards our chalk. We're going to go ahead and pick up our red buff. Thor lands in. He is in it, so we're going to try our best to try to help him out right here. We use our ultimate. Unfortunately, we miss everybody. We use our line attack, and we connect with a lot of people right there. We're going to use our 2. We're able to get the slow onto the Ganesh. Ganesh dashes out. We're going to hit him with our line attack, and we're able to get the kill onto the Ganesh. We're trying to avoid this Kuzumbo. Xbalanque's here. We're going to keep wiggling around, really taking advantage of our movement speed from our items and from our passive. Xbalanque just used his dash. We're going to cast our 3, get a little bit of poke, use our 1, and we're able to clean up the Xbalanque. We get an assist. Our Charon's corn is fully stacked. That probably happened a little bit ago. But now we are gaining that additional 8% movement speed. So after going into Rod of the Booty, we're going to be picking up Obsidian Shard. Obsidian Shard is going to provide us with 70 magical power and 20% magic penetration. The first ability cast is going to gain an additional 10% penetration. This can only occur once every 10 seconds. So once we get Obsidian Shard complete, we're going to be at the 40% magical penetration cap. And then we are going to be able to go over that cap because of the Obsidian Shard passive. It is the same on physical, or the physical equivalent of Titan's Bane. Titan's Bane's passive allows you to go over the cap of 40%.
It is now your problem.
There's 2 people over in left. We're kind of just waiting around. So right here is a misplay. We need to rotate to a camp instead of just sitting in lane doing nothing. Sitting in lane, waiting for minions is literally doing nothing for us. We could rotate left, we could rotate to the Harpies. We're already level 20, but we can still be gaining some gold and preventing the enemy from getting farm. We're going to kind of rotate with the Ymir. Our red should be up pretty soon. We're going to go ahead and pick up the red buff as soon as we drop it. 2 people over in right. We're heading back to mid to clean up the wave. At this point in the game, now that we're level 20, we really should be trying to rotate to the fight as much as possible. Kuzumbo's coming in from the left. We're going to set up a ward, and then we're just going to back up. We're going to shoot our line attack. Kuzumbo steps into it. There's an enemy near the enemy red buff. We're going to throw up our other ward. Bit of a team fight going in. We're trying to zone out Quash from going into the jungle. We take a decent amount of damage, and we just used our heal, so we're not going to be able to heal up. We're going to be playing it pretty careful since we're about half health. Thor's getting pushed by the Tsukiyomi. We're going to throw a heal out. We're going to stand in it, try to get max health again. Cast our line attack. Just cleans up the minions. Kuzumbo's behind us. We're going to rotate onto him. He's out of position, so if we can catch him, we should be able to get the pick onto him. We're going to cast our 2, cast our 3, cast our line attack. He's able to use his ultimate. We're just going to fall back a little bit. Xbalanque ult. We're going to save our ultimate, see if there's any lineup. Hopefully we can connect something. Here we go. We're going to cast the line attack. We're going to use our ultimate. And we're able to get the pick onto the Tsukiyomi. We're going to step out of the Alposh ultimate, cast our 3. We're going to stand in it. Ymir's going to stand in it. We're both going to get healed. Our team's pushing. We're going to follow with them, but we're also going to try to avoid that frontline combat. Except for now, we're going to apply our 2. We take a lot of damage. We're able to get the pick onto the Ganesh, but we took a lot of damage there. So whenever we use our 2, that's whenever we make our dash to the front line. Gold Fury's up. We're going to go ahead and rotate there with the team. We could cast our 3, and that's going to heal everybody, provide some protections and some additional damage when going for the objective. I like this build. I like this build a lot. You get to just zoom. I think movement speed is king. If you can have any stat, movement speed is just fantastic. It works really well on Raw because of Raw's passive, but I think this build would also work on some characters. Just being able to outrun the enemy is going to be very helpful. So we got the Oni. No, that was a Primal Fury because these minions are glowing red. That means that they have additional protections and deal additional damage. Ymir gets a good wall. We're going to cast our 3, use our 2. That's going to apply a slow. The Kuzubo uses his ultimate. Did not get a whole lot for that ultimate. We're trying to damage the Alposh. We're going to avoid the Alposh damage. We're going to use our 2, stack a slow, use our line attack, get some good damage onto the Kuzubo. Stand in our heal so we get full health. We're going to use our ultimate, but Cupid is able to clean them up before our ultimate is needed. Tsukiyomi rotates in. He is a good target for us. We hear Thor using his ultimate. We're going to use our line attack through the wall. We're able to get some 831s onto Tsukiyomi from our 1. Ganesh uses his ultimate. We're just going to stand in here. We do not want to walk out. We should be able to survive. We have Cupid here. We're going to use our line attack. It looks like Ganesh was able to dash perfectly. We're going to use our 3. We're going to use that to step up, stand in it. Cupid's able to clean up the Ganesh. We're going to keep pushing with our team. Right here, we do not want to heal ourselves because we got tagged by the Alposh 3. We're going to fall back. We're going to cast our 3. Unfortunately, our team was not with us, so nobody else is benefiting from the heal. That's my bad. That was probably a bad placement for our 3. Our team makes the call to go for Fire Giant. We're going to rotate there with them. Check to see if Kuzenbo is behind us. It looks like he backed up. We're going to throw our heal onto the Pyromancer, cast our 1, get some good damage, and Chalk's going to go ahead and start the Fire Giant. Typically, I think the smarter play is to start with Fire Giant, so that way the enemy doesn't get notified when the Pyromancer goes down. Hit Fire Giant and then hit the Pyromancer. We're going to cast our 3 onto the Fire Giant, deal damage, heal anyone who steps up. We're going to rotate back with our team. Our damage is up. We should be rotating towards our damage over hitting these mid harpies. We're going to go ahead and clean up mid-wave and then rotate to our damage. We have a pretty penny in the pocket, so we're going to go ahead and back, sell our Mage's Blessing, and pick up Soul Reaver. Soul Reaver is going to provide us 95 magical power, 300 mana, and 10% magical penetration. So this is going to put us over the cap, but I think Soul Reaver's passive is just a must-have on almost every mage. Your first, or your ability, and the game ended. Well, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. That really helps the videos out. If you feel like you learned anything at all, or just had a good time, make sure you subscribe and check out the channel for some more Smite content. These stats for this game will be posted in just a moment. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a great day. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.